Guys, welcome back to Louder Off-Road. We are in the Mainville garage tonight. This morning, afternoon, I don't know what time it is. We're working on ProjestMule. This is Kyle's 2021 Duramax, which I'm a little jealous of. But what we're doing is he's asked for us to come down and help him because we have this array of electrical. Kyle's decided to go full SUMA truck. We're going LED lights, bars, rock lights, which the rock lights are not in the wheel wells, thank God. We're gonna light up. He's got toolboxes, we'll go through that after. He's got a whole setup going on over there. We've got a wiring, I'm not gonna say a nightmare because I love doing it. Kyle hates doing it, that's why I'm here. So I'll give you a look at what we're doing in the truck, I think. Kyle has an idea in his head, I'm just helping him out. So he's put this, I'm calling it a service body. He calls it a camper body. It's not factory, as you can see. Toolboxes, gear bag boxes, so be it. We're gonna run all the electrical for all these lights inside a service box. And these are all sealed bins that we're gonna put the rock lights inside so that when he's camping at night and stuff, he can see pots and pans, and Cass can make food while he sits by the fire. And, you know, and whatnot. But I have OCD, he has OCD. So the wiring has to be perfect, tucked, not visible. So we're gonna get a start on that. There's the man who owns the truck.
So, like Drake was saying, we're both kind of tackling this together because we are particular in the way we want things. And I think Drake's the perfect guy for the job to help me out with this. The way it's going to work is we have to start the circuit obviously from the battery. So up front we have a resettable circuit breaker to pull power from this battery to run this. You want the protection to be basically as short as possible. You don't want to have a long run and put the circuit breaker at the back of the truck because then you have a wire going from here to there that's essentially unprotected. That's your
Don't burn your truck down box right there. So the wire that's going to power this is literally going to be, what's that, 4 inches?
Yeah, not far.
If that. So you want the wire before your protection to be as short as possible. Ideally, if you could get it 2 inches, that's even better because that would be the only unprotected part. The wire that comes out of this and is going to go back into that toolbox, if it touches frame or shorts out, this is going to trip and not burn the Duramax down.
Another convenient factor is, like, let's say down the road you're having an issue where something's drawing power and you can't figure out what it is. Well, if you're out in the bush in the middle of nowhere, you can literally just trip it yourself. And then you won't have to worry about that until you get somewhere where you can repair it.
We aren't going to need to repair it. This is going to be like Maverick.
I think so too, but essentially this is the start, and we're going to run all the way back to a fuse block essentially, and the fuse block is going to be controlled in the cab by a switch.
Which is more running of things.
More running of things.
But what we're going to do, and I've found underneath the Duramax is the same as my truck, which future video I'll give you a tour of Scarlett. She's a one-of-a-kind unit-ish. There's a main wiring harness that comes out of the ECU, and it goes down the frame, all under the cab, then it goes up the back and over the fuel tank. The engineers at GM know that people are going to tamper with these trucks, and they have this really nice little clip on top of their harness clip that's empty. We can just click, 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 click. So when you do installs like this, if you're doing anything, rock lights, winches, blah, 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 even stereos, the more central you can make I'll call it the brains of the operation, the better. So if we only have to run one long run of wire from the battery into that toolbox, that means everything from the toolbox out is going to be significantly shorter. This is like the fuse box that you would find in your truck. So essentially, all we're doing is adding an external fuse panel like your normal truck would have that has a controller on it so that we can power everything that the truck didn't come with, the cool stuff. So this is going to get mounted, which I believe in the toolbox under the drawers is what we found. There's an opening where the fuel fill and stuff go through, less holes being drilled, better. And then all of the wiring is going to disperse from that. And if I'm correct, rock lights are going in the toolboxes. I have no idea where this behemoth is going.
Not sure yet because that is supposed to go into a bumper I don't have yet.
Question mark push bar, cattle guard.
Side by side.
And then we've got some flush mounts that we're going to put, I believe, 2 backwards and 2 sideways. for lighting around the back of what will eventually have a camper in it. We should put some on the camper and then put a plug from the camper to the truck.
The camper already has a plug to the truck. I already wired it. It's back here.
Yeah, but I mean, we should put another plug so that we can put more accessory lights on the camper. And just,
True. The camper also has solar and a battery pack and 110 and everything else too.
yeah, better, more is better.
Options.
Well, Kyle's been dogging it on his side of the project. I've got this all routed. So I got the circuit breaker mounted to the fuse box lid, which is where we wanted it. So I got the wires all ran nice. And then in case you need to get in here, within here, I've put extra wire. So this, in theory, will be able to come off and out of the way if you need to get anything in the factory fuse box. But now that I finished my project, I got to find the next thing to work on because Kyle over here has accomplished to take the 2 drawers out. But I think the plan is this is going to go in here, elevated. That's what's going on?
Correct. I'm building spacers right now to basically lift it up.
Okay, so we're going to take this because the wires have to come through these little slits, which you can see are flush with the bottom. So we're going to space it up so that the wires can come out the bottom, through the side, and disperse. So I've got the heavy cables ran up through the fender liner, up and over, in. We've got the circuit breaker in. So tip for you guys, I'm doing this and not telling Kyle because this is the way to do it. You stay back there. Is if you gotta fish wires into the abyss down there, and obviously big gorilla hand people, they don't fit in there. Loom and zip tie your wires first for like 8 feet and then pull it all down, and then by the time it pops out the bottom it'll be all nicely zip tied together, and then all you got to do is zip tie it to whatever you're securing it to. For Kyle, you got to make sure you cut these on a 45, all of them, so they're incredibly sharp because, you know, well, that's why. But yeah, I don't know if you can see. These are going to go down and then, oh God, they go down to the abyss. And then keep in mind when you're running wires, you want to stay away from things that vibrate, things that are hot. So no exhausts, no fuel lines, no brake lines. So stick to wiring harnesses or actual hard frame mounts because you don't want melt. Oh, I took that to the head. Yeah, and then Kyle, I believe, has got the box. No, he doesn't even have the box mounted yet. What are you doing?
It is mounted. I had to remove it.
Why'd you remove it?
I removed it because when we're actually installing wires, we don't want it to be like that, so we can actually manipulate it and then install it afterwards. It makes sense. Tested, everything works.
Everything works? What is there to work? The holes lined up?
Yeah, I just made sure it's all good to go.
Oh, okay. What are you doing now?
I'm actually testing out where I want to put flush mount lights at the back.
You don't have a mic on, but it's going to work. You're standing right here.
I'll just yell.
Ah, loud noises. Ooh, he's going down there.
The intention of these lights is to light behind me when my camper's in here. I can either use it to check out the trailer, you know, if someone's rummaging through my bins or something, I can light them all up. Reversing, camp area, it doesn't matter. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to put them. I think this is silly. And if I do this, I can line them up with like the LEDs here, and I can mount other stuff here later, like a jerry can or something.
That would look goofy. Don't do that. What kind of jerry can? What are you gonna? You drive a diesel. What are you gonna put? 1 gallon of diesel fuel?
Well, I might want water.
Well, that's fair enough.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just leaving options open.
Yeah, your truck, your problem. Why you gotta be so loud?
Well, am I swearing on your videos now, and you have to edit that out?
Kyle, while I've been crawling around under the truck like a grease monkey, he's been massaging this light into the hole.
Yeah, I think I did good.
Yeah.
Not my first rodeo.
Not bad,
Yeah.
not bad. And yeah, he's got the Massager 5000.
Yeah.
Not the hammer. We haven't got that far yet.
So this is for my mistakes right here. You know, give her the old horsepowers. That's for like when I'm just mad.
Oh.
Just hit things and shape them into shape.
Well, things happened over here. We have cables. And I just thought to myself, I should make sure that that circuit breaker is off. I'll get this wired up and then that module will have power. And now we're just waiting on Kyle and all his fanciness to hook things up. So if you're ever drilling through anything and you're running wires, come on, focus. Anyway, grommets. I had one here, right here. Oh, cameras. There you go. So that wires don't rub on sharp aluminum things. And then a tip, you can see these wires don't go back, is once you get them zip tied, just put a zip tie on them. And then that way this slack will stay in the toolbox and not fall and droop down under the truck, caught in all sorts of things. And because when you live in Canada, we get these big muddy icicles that like to accumulate on anything low-hanging fruit. So if you got a wire hanging down, you're going to get icicles and it's going to pull and it's going to break things and it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I think we have some food ready to eat though.
Oh.
The wives came in here like, I don't know, half an hour ago and said food's hot. So.
Well, I like to know that they told you about the food.
Well, the air compressor was going, I was zinging holes into things and...
Oh, so what you're saying is I was on the creepy Finger Crusher 5000 under the truck. Hi. Okay, so we've got the power into this, I'm calling it module, that's my world. We rigged it up to power just temporarily to make sure that we didn't have any issues, and I can turn on some other lights to go on the truck later on. But then we found a issue is Kyle wants to be able to turn all of the lights on which this module is going to control from outside the truck in the service body, which runs into the issue of this module is powered up through keyed ignition. So obviously if he's out camping, wants to cook and it's dark out, he doesn't want to have his truck on all day long. So what we're going to do is build a Deadman switch out of a relay. So for you guys that have dealt with relays, probably know, but relays have 5 pins on them. So normally you use a small amperage to control big amperage, which is 4 pins, power, ground, and a large power in your load. There's a 5th pin there that makes solid contact when the relay is off. So what we're going to do is the relay is going to power up with keyed ignition, but that constant power that goes through a relay, we're going to put a toggle switch, which I had somewhere, into the toolbox. That way he can power the module up externally or through the key. And we did that because if you just tee them together, what you're going to do is you're going to take 12-volt power and you're going to backfeed it into the computers, which on a truck this new is no good, not smoke out of the box. So this is not only for safety for Kyle's truck, it's also going to be for usability whether you're in the cab or outside in the camper body. Update. I screwed up, YouTuber noob, didn't have the mic on, did 10-minute blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so what I've been working on is the Deadman switch and this, I'm calling it a module, I don't care. So we can turn this on, and in the truck there's a controller. So this controller here powers up, you can see, push the button. So you can see we've got lights. Now these aren't the way these are going to get hooked up. This is just to make sure that we've got power coming in and out of this. So you can see we've got lights, the external switch is on, which is essentially what Kyle wants so that when he needs to use the lights for loading the machines or when his big ass camper is in here, he can do so without climbing in and out of the truck 100 times. But, let me just shut this off. We also did wire it in such a way that when you turn the truck on, it also powers up. So you can see it's on again, switch is off. So that's the Deadman Switch. That allows you to have two different inputs and not crossfeed. And you can see if I flick this switch on, it doesn't affect anything the way that the relay's clicked over. So I can leave that switch on, and I can shut the truck off. That 8-gang stays on, and so do the lights. And I can go over, I can turn the switch off, and now they're off. And that stops backfeed to the ECM. The only thing we can't get rid of is if that switch is left on and Kyle drains his batteries. But then I'm sure he's got a booster pack or something that'll fire up Duramax. And then he lets it run for an hour and a half and 2. What have you been doing while I've been over here in complicated land?
It was my turn to dig into the oil slick frame and get a wiring harness to the other side. So basically we have the rock lights that are set up to light up the cabs, and then we have the pod lights at the back, 2 separate circuits. But I ran the ones from the other side across to here to meet up with these ones, and we're making our run towards your work.
And these pod lights over here are going to be on multiple channels, because as you can see, it's got an amber feature in the middle, and then we've got work lights on the outside. So not too complicated. We just multiple channels, multiple circuits.
2 lights for 1.
Multiple things to do. Little tip of the day. 19 and up Chevys, if you need to get stuff like this, or radars or GPSs or radio antennas, if you go down through, pull this kick plate off, floor mat, carpet, put your seat all the way back, there's a grommet right there under the floor mat and the floor that allows you to poke a wire out. Right there. And then you can go along the frame and up. So you service guys for your CB antennas and beacons and whatnot. And then the other way you can do it that I've done in the past is if you go up your A-pillar all the way across the back, if you got beacons, you can go across and you can poke out on your third brake light instead of having that gross wire whipping on your roof all the time. So we stopped for some pizza, thanks to the ladies. We're getting everything all tied up here, so we got just about everything in the module done. All the wiring's ran, except for we just have miles of extra cable for the rock lights up in the toolbox. But for some reason, Kyle finds great satisfaction in organizing. So props to him, because I don't want to do that. That's terrible. But we got everything ran, everything under the truck's tied up. Can't tell anything's anywhere. Interior's done. Under the hood looks about as factory as you could get, minus, the really clean big circuit breaker under the hood. We're making great progress. We found that these lights on the back, I was wrong. That was my fault. I told Kyle wrong, but it worked out. There's 3 wires to this, and I thought there's a red, black, yellow. I thought that the red and black would power up the white, and the yellow would do the amber. But the yellow, if you've ever installed beacons or work lights or industrial lights, the yellow, you just tap it to power and you can change the pattern. And we'll turn the lights off here in a bit and we'll show you how they work. But they're a little different than I thought, but I think they're going to work for what he wants. Yep. Just not as simple.
No, it's exactly how it'll work with how we designed it. Honestly, aux beam made it super easy.
Yeah.
It kind of caught our mistake.
Yeah, and then once we get this all in, we'll show you guys with the lights turned off, and then we just got to vacuum up our hundreds of pounds of little wiring bits and aluminum shavings and zip tie cutoffs. Oh man, look at this. Oh, it's just littered. Oh, you're adding a couple more.
Yeah, you'll see in a little bit when Drake shows you, but basically all of the bins have a light, and it's more than enough light for the whole cabinet, but this one has the toolbox, so it kind of like makes these big shadows. But I have all these extra lights, and that's because I ran out of extension wires. So I'm going to use these lights in this cabinet because it's the most important, and I'm going to light those corners that are dark.
Yeah, seems easy enough. Hey guys, huge YouTuber wannabe noob move. I'm trying to make my version of the video of helping Mainville ATV and Outdoors with their 2021 Duramax build. And well, the whole outro, apparently
the mics weren't on, and or me and Kyle were getting our mics mixed up of whose was whose all day. And I think I turned his mic on for his camera while trying to record with my camera. So anyway, this last clip you're gonna see is what was supposed to be the outro. I'll voice over this over that. But we just wanted to say thanks for watching. We got all the lights installed and working, other than there's a light bar, 2 pods, and some marker lights. But those are for the future, because there's going to be a bumper or some sort of a push bar. I don't think Kyle's decided what he wants yet, but I'm sure when he does, we'll get the call to help install that, which will be sweet. So head over, like, comment, subscribe to Mainville ATV and Outdoors, as well as right here. That's more important. Like, comment, subscribe here. We're going to be helping Kyle out a lot more with his Duramax as the projects come around. And I have some projects lined up as well for some of my fleet. So once we get those organized and the ball rolling, we'll keep you guys posted. But thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.